We get a lot of questions from people around what happens if you're afraid of horses. Would we still recommend you doing this course if you have nerves around horses? I think the nerves and the fear are a little valid. I think it's a big animal that requests a lot of presence, and there is a respect that's due there. I'm not somebody that came into the Equus coaching course having tons of horse experience. And I remember I rode a couple times as a child, and in one time almost got thrown off a horse. And I didn't have a total panic about horses, but I definitely had some like, ooh, that was a little unsafe and not really sure how to engage with them. But because the desire to interact with them and there was a pull there, I listened to that and trusted that I could learn to be in a relationship with them over time rather than needing to be an expert right in the beginning. So I think there are many of our students, and myself included, that have been through this program that don't have horsemanship experience, that are nervous, that are afraid, and many people learn to develop a relationship where they can feel what's going on and notice that their story of fear is just a story and is not actually needed at all times. But then also recognizing that there is a healthy level of respect for a big animal that's there, that has responses, that has its own ways of keeping it safe. So I would say totally valid to bring the fear, to acknowledge it, to be authentic with it, to just be really truthful about it, and being willing to show up in the relationship and see, do I actually need all that fear, or am I putting something on top of this interaction that doesn't need to be there? I mean, I think part of this training, there's the skill sets that we ask you to learn in terms of your coaching skills, in terms of horsemanship, but there's also just a lot of interacting with a lot of different kinds of horses, going to pastures, catching horses, bringing them to the round pen, bringing them to wherever we're doing our interaction. There's a lot of interacting with horses in tasky kind of things, just getting from one place to another, that is a really important skill set that can really help to shift that relationship. And something we do in our program that we think is really important, especially at our on-sites, is to have people pair up and go to catch horses or to bring them to different places so that you have a partner in crime to help you move from place to place and get more comfortable and learn how to put a halter on the horse and learn how to stand with a horse or provide feedback when it's doing something that isn't quite safe. We do have lots of support around that, and we ask people to move together in that. And so that's a really supportive environment. So I've definitely seen people move from places of not being able to even stand near a horse to being able to catch a horse and put a halter on, bring them to different areas and be able to interact just fine. I've met people that have come through the Equus coaching program that really haven't had any connection to the horse. They're drawn to this for some reason. I think it's maybe the experiential nature of it, or the coaching with a partner in crime kind of thing with the horse, but they're not really horsey people. They're not attracted to horses necessarily. But what I find is that's because they don't understand the dialogue that's playing out. They don't understand how to read the feedback of the being in front of them. And we teach a lot of those skills. And so as you learn to read what's being communicated, since the animal doesn't speak English or a verbal language of any kind and is really much more body and energetics, as you learn to start connecting to that piece, I find most people actually quite enjoy that connection. They quite enjoy not having to communicate verbally and learning to be on the same page just in our own bodies and just in our own hearts and our own spirits and our own energetics.